We are privileged today to have as our guest Wilma Reppert. Wilma moved into her cottage in August of 2013, and she volunteered for the Religious Life Committee because that's where her heart is, that's her passion. But of course we discovered what a jewel she was and elected her as president of the Residents Association. Currently, she is on the executive committee and she chairs the Religious Life Committee. And she and Marcia, our wonderful chaplain, are responsible for the beautiful ambiance in the chapel. And if you're not visiting the chapel regularly, you're missing out. So today, we want to learn a little bit more about Wilma, and I'm particularly interested in events and circumstances that brought her to this place of peace. So Wilma, tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Okay, I was born in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. My first remembrance is being raised around the Dale, Shawnee area. I went to school. I need to tell you, I was born the fourth child of 8 children.
Wow.
So I was a middle child. Not a whole lot of spoiling going on at that point. I went to school at Dale, Oklahoma, all 12 grades under one roof. In high school, I was interested in boys, and I was interested in studies. I was a serious student. I liked and played basketball and liked cheerleading better. So I graduated with honors. I got the I Dare You award and as a salutatorian. And I married right out of high school.
A lot of people did in Dale, right?
That's right.
How many children did you have?
We gave birth to 3. There were 3 live births, a daughter and twin boys. One of the twin boys did not survive. After 3 days, he passed away.
Changes your life.
It does change. It was life-changing.
Right. So then after that, you became a single mom.
Yes, well, I forgot to mention that that marriage ended in divorce, did not survive after 17 years of marriage. Instead of growing together, we grew apart. Yes, then I was a single mom, and I wonder...
You had to support them.
Pardon?
You had to support them with a good job.
I did, and that was my big question. How was I going to do that? Because I didn't have an education except high school education. Fortunately, I had a child support and alimony that got me through the next 2 years, so I had a little bit of time, and I spent that time going to Gordon Cooper Vo-Tech School in Shawnee, where I learned some skills that I really kind of knew in high school, but it had been a while. So it was a business course. And then following that, I moved to Texas with the hope and expectation of working at Texas Instruments. That's exactly what I did. And just like that, my world changed from a fishbowl to the Pacific Ocean with mass humanity and traffic. There was a lot to learn. I worked at TI for the radar division, and after the development program that I was supporting, it came to a close, and the engineers at TI encouraged me to apply for at Hewlett-Packard. That's what I did. I came on at Hewlett-Packard at a wonderful time. We were just getting into the personal computer business. They paid for night school, so I did take advantage of that, went to night class worked there. I worked my way up from an order processor to supervision, and when I retired, I was managing a sales and service office for Hewlett-Packard in Austin, Texas.
Awesome. And you met your soulmate there in one of those places.
I did indeed. An engineer at TI that was in a management position in that radar development program. So we dated, hold on, 8 years. We had a blended family to deal with, and when the last kid went to college, there was a proposal and we married.
Wow. Wow. So then you all retired, and what did you do then?
Lots of travel. He retired at 59. I retired at 56. I wanted 15 years in to get vested at HP. So, and his dream, and became my dream, was to travel full time. We worked up to that. But about 15 minutes after I retired, we boarded a plane, flew to Europe, and we spent 3.5 months, put 22,000 miles on a French Peugeot, had the time of our life. We mostly did the unstaged Europe, met the real people, danced their dances, sang their songs. Just had a wonderful, wonderful time, and I have a deep appreciation for the people of Europe.
So your favorite place that you went when you retired, what would be the favorite?
We were asked that a lot, and we could not come up with the answer. Each place has its own beauty.
Sure.
So after that, we called home a 40-foot motorhome and a Jeep in tow for 5 years. We sold everything we had. We had invested in properties. We sold everything. If it didn't fit on the motorhome, then we didn't own it. So it was a wonderful, wonderful sense of freedom. A great 5 years.
Right.
And we spent 2.5 months each of those years in Hawaii, where we had lots of Hawaiian adventures. We absolutely loved Hawaii. It may be our favorite place, I don't know. But we did a lot of hiking. I married Mr. Adventure. He was the accelerator, I was the brake. But in Hawaii, we did lots of hiking. At 62, age 62 for me, we were certified for scuba diving. We did 38-mile trip down Mount Haleakala in Maui, just some of the highlights of Hawaii, and just numerous.
What year was that, approximately?
That we started traveling full-time in 2000.
And when did Larry pass away?
In 2008.
So then what did you do?
What did I do next? We had, again, accumulated properties. We were living in Hilton Head, Sun City, Hilton Head, South Carolina. We had built a log home, and I began to sell off the properties, moved to the log home, made it my permanent home for 3 years.
Well, I know that you are a very spiritual person. And tell us about your spiritual journey.
Okay, I've thought a lot about this, and there are 3 men that made a huge impact in my life. I got to spend a week with my grandma and grandpa when I was about 10 or 11. Their household operated a lot different than mine. They were very structured in their devotional time. We got up at 4 in the morning. We had devotions. They worked on the farm. But it was one night, sitting on the porch, one hot night, and my granddad was looking at the sky and the stars, and he pointed out how great our God was. I'll never forget that. I really think it really made an impact. And the next person that influenced me would be Reverend Walter Fiscus, one of the co-founders of Partners in Prayer. Following little Timmy's death, it started me on a spiritual quest of why I had a baby. I had expected to go in having a baby, and I had 2 babies, and I could not understand the void I was feeling. So 6 months later, I found I was led to Partners in Prayer, and Walter Fiscus and his partner Barbara Fiscus, and it was like my God changed and evolved even more. And I became very involved with Partners in Prayer. I traveled on mission to Portugal and Spain. I was involved in leadership things at retreats. I was on the board for a number of years and chaired the board for about 10 years. The last person that I'm going to mention was Larry, and his introduction to adventure in my life. Learning to face fears and just doing it anyway, and finding beauty on the other side of that fear.
Larry was brought to you.
He was.
How and why did you come to Epworth?
A good question. There's only so long you can live on a mountain ridge. At age 72, I decided I needed to start looking at my next step, and I was there 3 years. I made a road trip to Oklahoma, started investigating life care facilities. Epworth was the first place I looked at. I loved the campus. It was beautiful. What brought me here was cottage living. I was pretty independent, and it was a big culture shock to move from that ridge to all of a sudden people, chatter, and traffic again.
Right.
And a short chat with the CEO at that time, who said that Epworth catered to the healing of body, mind, and spirit. And when he said spirit, that just kind of like resonated with me. So and I had family here. I moved back to Oklahoma. So those are the things that brought me here.
Well, you are an Okie.
I am an Okie.
After all. Well, Wilma, we thank you so much for sharing with us today, and we just thank you for being with us.
All right. Thank you. It was fun.